In April 2009, Captain Richard Phillips stood on the deck of the MV Maersk Alabama, a massive American cargo ship bound for Mombasa, Kenya. The sea stretched endlessly before him, its shimmering surface betraying no sign of the turmoil to come. The Alabama carried vital cargo, including food and supplies for African nations, navigating waters known for their peril, the Somali Basin. Captain Phillips, an experienced seafarer, was well aware of the dangers posed by Somali pirates in the region. He briefed his crew thoroughly, implementing security measures to prepare for the unthinkable. Extra drills were conducted, and the crew kept a vigilant eye on the horizon. They knew that while the ocean was beautiful, it was also unpredictable, a place where danger could strike without warning. Unbeknownst to Phillips and his crew, a group of Somali pirates, desperate and armed, were already watching them. From their small skiff, these men, led by a young pirate named Muse, saw the Alabama as an opportunity, a vessel laden with valuable cargo and, more importantly, an American target. For Muse, this mission wasn't just about survival but a chance to prove himself. As the pirates prepared their weapons and fueled their skiff, the Alabama's crew remained unaware of the storm brewing just over the horizon. Yet Captain Phillips could feel the tension in the air. His instincts told him that the calm waters might be a prelude to chaos. And he was right. As the MV Maersk Alabama continued its journey through the Somali Basin, Captain Phillips maintained a steady resolve, though his thoughts were weighed down by the reports of piracy that plagued these waters. The ship's crew went about their tasks with caution, aware that danger could surface at any moment. Despite the high-risk environment, they had a job to do, delivering critical supplies to Mombasa. On board, conversations buzzed among the crew about the dangers of piracy. Stories of hijacked ships and terrified sailors filled their breaks. Some laughed nervously, trying to shake off the anxiety, while others double-checked the ship's security measures. They knew their only line of defense against pirates was the vessel itself. No armed security, just barricades, fire hoses, and sharp wits. Captain Phillips had taken extra precautions, ordering increased surveillance and preparing his team for any encounter. Every radar sweep became a moment of heightened tension. With binoculars in hand, Phillips scanned the distant waves, looking for any sign of trouble. Meanwhile, not far away, the group of Somali pirates finalized their plans. Muse, their leader, was a wiry young man with sharp eyes and a determination forged by desperation. Life in his impoverished coastal village had left him with few choices. For Muse, this wasn't just a mission, it was survival. Under the scorching sun, the pirates loaded their skiff with weapons and supplies. Muse's voice rang out, commanding his crew with authority. "This ship will change our lives," he told them, pointing toward the horizon. Their skiff, dwarfed by the ocean's expanse, was no match for the Alabama in size, but Muse knew that their speed and element of surprise gave them an edge. As night fell, the Alabama pressed on, its crew resting in shifts. The quiet hum of the engines echoed through the ship, creating a false sense of security. But Captain Phillips knew better. The sea had a way of masking threats until they were too close to escape. He stayed alert, knowing full well that the tranquility of the open ocean could erupt into chaos in the blink of an eye. Little did they know, by morning, their fears would become a terrifying reality. The sun rose over the Indian Ocean, painting the horizon in hues of orange and gold. The MV Maersk Alabama powered forward, its crew busy with their morning routines. For a moment, the serene beauty of the sea seemed to wash away the tension that had been hanging in the air. But then, a voice crackled over the radio from the lookout station. "Captain, unidentified skiff approaching fast from the starboard side." Captain Phillips froze, his worst fear now a reality. Grabbing his binoculars, he rushed to the bridge. Through the lenses, he saw a small, fast-moving skiff cutting through the waves with alarming speed. 4 men were aboard, their silhouettes unmistakably armed. "Pirates," he muttered under his breath. Phillips immediately activated the ship's emergency protocol. Alarms blared, and the crew sprang into action, locking down the vessel's interior and preparing makeshift defenses. They activated water cannons along the ship's perimeter, creating high-pressure streams aimed to deter boarding attempts. The skiff, undeterred, drew closer. Muse, standing at the helm, shouted orders to his crew. His eyes were locked on the massive cargo ship ahead, his mind calculating the best way to breach its defenses. Despite the towering size of the Alabama, Muse remained fearless. "Stay focused," he yelled. "This is our chance." On board the Alabama, tension gripped the crew. "Everyone to the safe room," Phillips commanded. The secure room, hidden deep within the ship, was designed as a last resort to protect the crew during an attack. The skiff came within range. Gunshots echoed across the water as the pirates fired warning shots into the air, signaling their demand for the ship to stop. The Alabama did not comply. Phillips ordered full speed ahead, attempting to outrun the smaller vessel. Mews's determination only grew. He and his men secured grappling hooks and ladders, their skiff cutting through the water alongside the speeding ship. They shouted commands to one another as they prepared to board. Back on the bridge, Phillips picked up the radio and broadcast a distress signal. "This is the Maersk Alabama. We are under attack by armed pirates. Request immediate assistance." He knew help could be hours away, time they didn't have. The pirates managed to latch onto the Alabama, their hooks catching hold of the ship's railing. With chilling efficiency, they began scaling the side of the vessel. The water cannons knocked one ladder loose, sending a pirate plunging into the sea, but it wasn't enough to stop the rest. By the time the first pirate climbed aboard, Captain Phillips knew the Alabama was no longer just a cargo ship. It was now a battleground. The pirates swarmed the MV Maersk Alabama's deck, their movements sharp and precise. Mews, the leader, climbed aboard last, his piercing eyes scanning the scene. Armed with AK-47s, the intruders moved quickly to establish control. Captain Phillips stood on the bridge, his heart pounding. Through the radio, he ordered the crew to stay hidden in the secure room. "No one comes out unless I say so," he commanded. He knew his responsibility now was to protect his crew and de-escalate the situation, no matter the cost. Mews stormed the bridge with two of his men. "Captain," he barked, his voice filled with a mix of authority and menace. "Where is your crew?" Phillips remained calm, keeping his expression neutral. "They're not here," he said, his voice steady. "It's just me." Mews tilted his head, studying Phillips. "Don't lie to me, Captain. We know they're hiding. Bring them out and no one gets hurt." Phillips held his ground. "I don't know where they are. They're trained to lock down the ship in emergencies." The pirate leader's lips curled into a thin smile. "Then we'll see how far you're willing to protect them." Meanwhile, in the secure room below deck, the crew listened intently to the muffled exchanges above. Shane Murphy, the chief mate, whispered to the others, "We have to stay put. If we reveal ourselves, we lose all leverage." Mews's men began ransacking the bridge, searching for anything of value. One pirate slammed the butt of his rifle onto a control panel, demanding access to the ship's operations. Mews turned his attention back to Phillips. "This ship is worth millions. Your life is worth less. Tell me how to take control or we'll take it ourselves." Phillips took a deep breath. "You've already boarded the ship. No need to hurt anyone else. Let's talk. I can help you get what you want." Mews raised an eyebrow, intrigued but not convinced. "Help me? You'll help me by obeying. Now call your crew." Phillips hesitated, knowing that doing so would endanger everyone. Instead, he tried a different approach. "You don't need to involve them. Let's settle this between us." The tension in the room was palpable. Mews, sensing the captain's courage, leaned closer. "You're brave, Captain. But bravery won't save you." As the pirates continued their search, Phillips made mental notes of their weapons and movements. He needed a plan, but time was running out. As the sun sank below the horizon, the tense standoff aboard the MV Maersk Alabama entered its second day. Captain Phillips, under constant watch, worked to stay calm despite the dire situation. The pirates had taken control of the bridge, but they were growing restless. Below deck, the crew whispered among themselves, formulating a desperate plan. Shane Murphy, the chief mate, took charge. "If we can disable their power, they'll lose control over the ship. It's risky, but it's our best shot." In the dim light of the secure room, the crew reviewed the ship's blueprints, identifying a critical area they could target. "We need to move fast and stay quiet," Murphy instructed. While the crew prepared, Phillips subtly attempted to distract the pirates. "You're in over your head," he told Mews. "The U.S. Navy will be here soon. If you surrender now, this can end peacefully." Mews smirked, but there was unease in his eyes. "The Navy won't save you, Captain. We've done this before. We'll take what we want and leave." Unbeknownst to the pirates, the crew had slipped out of their hiding spot and moved toward the ship's engine room. Every step was a calculated risk, each sound potentially betraying their location. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the ship. One of the pirates yelled, "What was that?" The distraction worked as intended, drawing the pirates away from the bridge. Phillips seized the moment. He turned to Mews. "You're losing control. If you want to survive this, you need to start thinking clearly." Mews's confidence faltered, but before he could respond, the ship's lights flickered and went out. The engine room erupted into chaos as Murphy and the crew sabotaged the ship's systems. The pirates panicked, shouting orders to each other in the darkness. Muse grabbed Phillips and pointed a gun at him. "Fix this now?" Phillips remained composed. "You've got bigger problems than me. Your time is running out." The blackout created an opening for the crew to take the offensive. Armed with tools and sheer determination, they managed to overpower one of the pirates, securing a weapon in the process. Muse, realizing the tide was turning, shouted, "Fall back. Regroup." He dragged Phillips toward the lifeboats, using him as a human shield. "You're coming with us." As the crew regained control of the ship, they watched helplessly as the pirates forced Phillips onto a lifeboat and launched it into the open sea. The crew could only hope that the Navy would arrive in time to save their captain, who had sacrificed his freedom to protect them. With Captain Phillips held hostage aboard the lifeboat, the U.S. Navy's intervention intensified. Guided by intelligence and precision, a SEAL team prepared for a high-stakes operation to bring him back alive. The lifeboat drifted under the harsh sun, its small confines amplifying tensions among the pirates. Muse, still holding Phillips at gunpoint, barked orders at his crew, his composure fraying under the weight of the situation. Phillips, exhausted but resolute, tried to reason with Muse one final time. "You don't have to die here. Surrender and you'll live to see another day." Muse didn't respond. His eyes flickered with doubt, but the grip on his weapon remained firm. Meanwhile, the SEAL team positioned themselves with unwavering focus. Negotiators on board the Navy ship kept the pirates talking, buying precious time. "We can discuss your demands," the negotiator said over the radio. "But we need assurances that Captain Phillips remains unharmed." The lifeboat floated into open waters, its isolation making it the perfect target. The SEALs secured their positions and waited for the green light to proceed. Every second was critical. Phillips, sensing the tension, shifted subtly to create a distraction. "I need water," he said weakly, feigning greater fatigue. Muse hesitated, then gestured for one of the pirates to assist. In that moment of divided attention, the SEAL snipers acted. A series of precise shots shattered the silence, each bullet hitting its mark. The pirates fell instantly, leaving Muse stunned and alone. Before Muse could react, the SEAL team breached the lifeboat, swiftly subduing him and securing Phillips. The captain, battered but alive, was rushed to safety aboard the Navy vessel. The crew of the Maersk Alabama cheered as the news of Phillips' rescue spread. They had endured an ordeal none of them would forget, but their captain's bravery and the Navy's precision brought them all home. Phillips, now safe, thanked the SEAL team and reflected on the harrowing experience. "They were just desperate men," he said quietly. "But desperate choices lead to desperate ends." The world watched in awe as the story of courage, survival, and the triumph of humanity over adversity unfolded. Captain Phillips' ordeal became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, reminding all of us of the lengths one can go to protect others.